All right. Hi, my absolutely brilliant and beautiful astrology soulmates. It's me, Stormie Grace, and welcome to this video where I am going to talk about, I can't believe I haven't done this sooner, but I am going to talk about what kind of astrologer I am and why you should care. Why does that matter to you at all? And it's actually really important that you do understand what type of astrologer and what type of astrology that you are following so that you understand the perspective of what's being delivered to you. Because in the world today, there are many, many, many voices in astrology, and we are not all speaking the same language exactly. Okay. It doesn't mean that one is right or that one is wrong, but it does mean that the lens your astrologer is coming through is going to shape how they're going to interpret the information of your chart or the chart that they're looking at. And it's also going to change the kind of guidance and breakdown that you are going to get. And this is really important to know. Because in astrology, I always like to use, I'm a Virgo rising, so I like to use the medical profession as a really good example, right? Like all doctors know CPR, okay? Everybody knows the basics. Everybody knows where the body's at and what the body organs are. But just like in medicine, in astrology, some of us focus on different portions of the body or we focus on it through a different kind of lens. And this really can change your entire experience. Some of us even use different housing systems. So let me give you a couple examples, especially if you're new and you didn't realize that there were different types of astrology that are happening. You know, if you were just kind of thinking astrology is astrology, that's actually incorrect. So maybe your astrologer is one like Chris Brennan, who's a Hellenistic astrologer. And this is rooted in a lot of ancient Greek, Babylonian texts where this comes from, right? It's predictive, it's fate oriented, and it's a lot more focused on planetary periods and a little bit more of a fixed kind of outcome, right? And we jokingly say that this is a little bit more like hellfire and brimstone. It's where you're going to hear more about Saturn and Mars as the malefics and that they bring negative things into the chart. So that is a little bit more of the Hellenistic view. Now, also, you can have someone who is in a traditional view, which also builds more on the medieval Renaissance kind of techniques. They focus on the dignities, they focus on condition of planets. They're going to look at life through systems of strengths, of weaknesses. It's more objective kind of thinking, is a way I would describe that. And you can put these systems together, right? Because on the other side, you can also have what we call modern astrologers, which is going to be one of the biggest things that they are going to do is that they are going to focus on using more planets. This is where we're going to include those outer planets. And you're maybe even looking at a type of practitioner who is a bit more therapeutic, or they can see both sides, the good and the bad, the strength and the weakness of a particular planet. So this is really important for you to understand. Okay, in a basic way, what is my astrologer and their lens that they are using? Because for me, I am an evolutionary and a humanistic astrologer. That is the place that I live. And between the two of those, I have created my own system. But let's talk about evolutionary astrology first so that you get an idea if this is where you belong. Evolutionary astrology is built on the idea that your birth chart tells the story of a soul evolution, right? Across lifetimes. So it's going to be asking the question, what is happening in your soul? What's the soul lesson? What are you here to face? What are you here to overcome? Now, it's a system that typically, if you're talking about it, you're going to be talking about the camps of Jeffrey Wolf Green. You're going to be talking about Stephen Forrest and the students that came from that as well. It sees the challenges as opportunities to evolve, but it's very karmic. Okay. And in this system, we're going to focus a lot on what the nodes are doing and what Pluto is doing in that particular chart. These are the focal points of this particular energy. Now, on the humanistic astrology side, that's the other part of the coin that I used. It's based more on present life. It's inspired by Dane Rudhyar. I really like to think too of Noel Till more in this realm because that's where I got more of the ideas for myself of how do we actually use this, right? Because it's going to focus on growth. It's going to focus on free will. It's more conscious choice. It asks, what are you going to do with what you have been given? And I find that the combination of these two approaches in how I practice become compassionate, while also being action oriented. And that to me is very empowering to the individual. So, for me, the type of astrologer that I am is one who put those things together. I'm looking at where has the human soul or the collective soul having an experience as a human being, and then what are we going to do with it? From here, this is where I have created my trademark program that's called Fluency. It's my personal approach to teaching how to speak this language of astrology. It helps you get the language into your mouth. It helps you get it out of your mouth because it's not about studying it only. It's about embodying it. It's about understanding your chart from a soul level, learning what that soul story is, living it as a human with some grace, and seeing how the language of your astrology makes you astrofluent when you can understand it. So it's a really exciting concept. I hope you guys are finding as you're listening to this, you're like, yeah, I'm in the right place. This is the way that I would like to see the lens of the astrology that you're listening to. Something else I want to say, because this is important to note as well. I practice Western tropical astrology, which is based on Earth's seasons and the solstices, not the constellations. Okay. So if you're looking for something that's more constellation based, you're going to want to go more towards the sidereal or the Vedic practices of astrology. And those are beautiful systems as well. If you watch Athan Chimenti here on YouTube, he's a sidereal practitioner, but that's not the lens that I use. And sometimes comments will pop up, down below where it's like, yeah, but in the sidereal system, it says this, and that's fine. It can absolutely say that. That's not the type of practitioner that I am, and it's not what you're going to find here. So if you ever come and you are watching a video with me, you're getting a reading, you're taking a program, you're having a session, I want you to be clear and empowered to choose the kind of system that you want to be engaging in, right? I want you to understand that I'm not here to tell you what to do with your life. I have no idea what you should do with your life. I'm not here to predict the fates. I am not here to tell you what will or will not happen in your life. I'm here to help you become fluent in this language that we have, identify your own patterns in your chart, see what's coming, recognize when you're repeating a karmic circle or cycle, see how you can take an action as a human being that is empowered today, and recognize when you are ready for that shift. Now, here's something else, just to put this here so you get a full picture of who and what you're engaging, is that I also hold my doctorate degree in business. So I serve in this way to help people become astrologically fluent in the language of how astrology translates into business as well. And I love working with entrepreneurs. I absolutely love it. So when I talk about astrology, I am also going to be talking about how do we make our dreams real in the tangible world with structure and strategy and soul. So this is who and what you're getting into and why it should matter to you, because you do not want to spend a single moment with me if I am not the kind of practitioner that is going to come at astrology through a lens that you like, you understand, and that you can resonate with. What you're not going to find over here either is me practicing a type of astrology that I don't do. I am not a mundane astrologer. I have the technique under me, but I don't practice that full time. So I bring in friends like Dan Waits and S.J. Anderson to talk about those spaces where they work in mundane astrology all the time. That's their gift. Mine is helping you unlock the soul story, take real action as a human being, being accountable for what you're doing and how you're showing up in the world, and allowing you to be empowered in that space. All right. So if that speaks to you, I invite you to stay here, like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell. Let's spend some time together, go through tons of videos I have. I've been making videos since 2011, so there is some teaching, learning, experience, funny videos for you to learn about here. If you want to take a deeper dive, I invite you to come into my astrology school, GAFA, the Grace Astrological Fluency Academy, join the Venus Reset program. And if you are ready to actually take your creative skill and talent and build a business, I will see you over in Lagatia Academy, which is my business school. All right, beautiful friends, I love you a ton. Check out these videos that are coming up next. We're going to get back on track talking about the astrology and how that is unfolding for you. Bye, everyone.